Release the hands, get left foot forward. We're going to face the long edge of the mat next. Take a stance. We might have to switch the stance a little bit. If arms are out to a T formation, good place to start is getting your ankles a little wider than your elbows. And then turn those left toes out at a slight angle. Then the left knee, make sure that knee goes in the same track as your toes. Take right hand to the floor here. Keep this right leg so it's not feeling like you're rolling too much onto the inner edge of the foot here. And you've got enough integrity in the thigh and weight moving through that leg to not put any unnecessary torque or inside pressure in the knee. You should feel a little bit of a stretch, and if you don't, and maybe your left heel is lifting up, you might need to take a wider stance, and that's where you adjust. And then take the twist toward the bent leg. Notice how that feels right from the waist, lower rim of the rib cage, up your spine, between your shoulder blades. Right, you can keep your left hand on that left thigh if that helps you to maintain that twist. If you can keep that twist feeling about the same way as you got now with the support of the hand, and take your arm up and use your right arm and upper back muscles to maintain that twist, that's your second option. Come out of this, you're going to keep that left toe leg in that angle. Turn your right toes at the same angle. It's going to be a little more challenging with balance. Bend your right knee. It's going to feel a little different in this left leg. Get the support of your left arm. Feel that out. Twist toward your bent leg. Sink into that right hip. Test the waters out. Can I transfer the weight from my right arm through my thigh into my left arm and into the floor to maintain that twist in my spine? Alright, now keep your right toes at that slight angle and come all the way up. You're going to need to use these deep muscles in the legs, the thighs, and hips to maintain your balance when you're coming up out of that shape. At the end of every inhale, we have the arms to a T formation. Next, exhale. Bend left knee. Take hand to the floor. Twist toward the bent leg. Inhale. Back to T formation. Vertical. Exhale. And right knee. Back to center. As you continue to do 2 more on each side, pay attention to the signals in and around the knee. If you're feeling tugging or it's too much, you might point your toes in more slightly. Don't overdo it. I want to feel more of a stretch happening in the belly of the muscles, remember, not toward the joints. Last round. Take your time. Come back to center. Hands on the hips. Look down at your feet. Splay your toes out, or splay your heels out now a little wider than your pinky toe. So the outer edge of your heel is a little wider than your pinky toe. You need to inch the feet in a little closer because it feels like a bit much. You can do that. Forward fold, hinge at the hip, fingertips to floor or block. You can also bring the palms down. Some of you have the ability to start bending the elbows. Start rounding the back excessively. Come up out of that a little bit. See if there's areas along your spine you can explore. That is going into deep flexion of your upper back. But you will find some flexion happening in the spine. Just be honest with yourself about where the spine is in space. And then, palms back to support, torso halfway up, runner's lunge facing the front leg, and then downward facing dog. Let's get that front leg back. And then left knee behind left wrist for one-legged pigeon pose. Scoot the right foot back, settle into hips as evenly as you can. And then we'll take a variation here. You'll have a couple of options. With your left leg forward, you're going to have your right forearm down, elbow under the shoulder. Now when you do that, there's going to be a tendency for a lot of us to sink into our right hip. Keep the hips pretty even. Maintain that as much as you can. Get left hand to thigh first. Kind of like how we worked with that one standing dynamic twist. Right? We can keep the left hand here on the thigh and work on the twist as we turn the chest toward the wall on our left. You can also reach back for the bind. If we have the availability to reach back to the inside of our right foot with our left hand, go ahead and do that. Create a taut feeling in the arm by pushing the top of the foot into the hand while lengthening sternum away from belly button at the same time as we're twisting. Bind, come out of the twist. If you've got the bind, careful with the back knee as you curl the back toe under and then take downward facing dog. Take a breath here. Notice if there's a difference in how the hips feel or maybe even your lower back. And then switch sides. Right leg forward. Keep hips even as you scoot that left foot back. And then when you bring that left forearm down, check back in with hips. Right hand on thigh, first option. Second option, reach back for the bind. And this is always interesting. The more complicated the postures are in terms of like multiple directions of the spine, multiple directions of hips or shoulders, take a couple of breaths to explore what it's like to shift body weight a little bit, to bring a little more weight into the hand through the foot, to lift up out of the left shoulder. And you're probably going to find a sweet spot that's going to help you to access particular areas for you in your body. And then we hold that. And maybe it isn't even quote unquote the most comfortable position, but what I mean by sweet spot is that you feel like the posture is giving you something, like there's like juice there for you. It doesn't always have to be this kind of rigid feeling when we're in postures. Sometimes a little bit of adjusting, connecting with the breath, can be pretty profound for us. Release that bind. Find your way back into downward facing dog. Observe. And then we'll bring knees down and we'll sit in between the feet now in Vigorous. So remember, you want the hips supported by something. So block bolster, combination of props if the hips don't touch the floor. And then once we have this position here, instead of alternating swimmers, we're going to do the same movement, but we're going to do both arms at the same direction. So this gives a little bit different of a sensation and work for the joint when you're working both with internal rotation of both shoulders and both external rotation of both shoulders. So we're doing this to mix things up a little bit and work with the joint in a different way. So let's start with both arms up alongside the ears here. With both arms going into this rotation here, checking with your lower front rib cage, kind of like we do in our side stretching, or anytime the arms are up overhead. There's restriction in the shoulders, we're going to want to compensate in our spine. So be aware of that. Maybe the arms don't go back as far, but at least you're being honest about where the boundary is in your shoulder. Now bend the elbows. Arms should be pretty close to the ears here and not splayed out. It's another way that oftentimes we might compensate for lack of flexion in the joint. And then next inhale, sweep the arms to the side. Take both arms here underneath. Now we've got that internal rotation. And then if you're pretty far where your arms or hands are along your spine, you're going to alternate. What you will alternate is which palm is free. So whatever back of the hand is touching the spine, you're going to switch every time you do this. So inhale, arms up, rotate from the shoulder joint, and then hands to shoulder blades, check in with rib cage. Inhale, sweep arms to the side and down, internally rotate, switch whichever hand is touching your spine, and go back and forth. Let the repetition of the movement free the joint up. Don't force anything. And really get a feel of that rotation and then that flexion in the shoulder joint. Right? Rotating, rotating, rotating until I get that internal rotation. Sweeping up, rotating, 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 rotating. Do that a couple more times. We're strengthening the joints and creating space. So we're strengthening the joint and creating space. Last one. And we'll come up onto all fours, so getting props off to the side. Take downward facing dog, we extend you back in the legs, dorsiflexion back in the ankle joint. We'll come forward into the top of a push-up, lower all the way down to the floor. Lift chest up just enough to lengthen the navel, bring flat of the belly down, cross the wrist, place chin on cross wrist, legs close together, big toes touch but heels fall away from each other. That lower back curve settle in, relax any tension around legs and hips. Conscious breathing. And then we'll get the legs back together again, bend both knees, do sweeping circles with the feet. Keep the neck turned off, so trying to engage the neck muscles as you're doing this movement and breathing in. Reverse the direction of the rotation. Tops of the feet to the floor, about hip width distance apart. Interlock fingers over hips. And then once you have the bind with the hands, locust pose, engage glutes to lift feet up. Strong back, lift heart, strong shoulders to peel the front of the shoulders away from each other. Down, arms alongside the body, palms up, left ear to the floor. Relax arms, legs, hips, and shoulders completely. Next, inhale, lift heart and head up. Turn your head to the other side and lower down. And next inhale, lift heart and head up, chin back to center. Hands under shoulders, roll toes under, push chest and belly away from the floor. Hips are back, bring forearms down. You either move toward a wall from here if you need a wall behind you for a headstand. You can also work on a one-legged dolphin pose if you're working on some mat work. 4 or 5 breaths of each leg and rest in between if you need to. If you're up and staying up in headstand, anywhere between 7 to 10 full breaths. Take your time to set yourself up. Really have those chest and back muscles fired up. No breath retention. Take your time, no rush. Any dizziness when you come out of that inversion, you can rest in child's pose, otherwise come to a seated upright position. You keep the gaze at one point externally, or with the eyes closed. Take a few resting breaths and feel the sensations from the skull all the way down the spine to the base of your pelvis. We'll meet back on the mat. You move your mat toward a wall, come back to your original place in the room. And then we're going to set up in half Hanuman pose. This is another one where you might want the back knee supported under a blanket or doubled up mat. Let's take left foot forward, right foot's going to be back, right hip over right knee. You can have the front knee bent a little bit if it helps you to settle into the crease of the left hip a little bit more. Have the support of your upper half of the body through your arms, fingertips or palms on the floor or block, and forward fold over the front leg. Get in if you're, if you're just setting yourself up. Make sure you get in at least good 4 to 5 full breaths in half Hanuman pose. We're going to be doing a sequence on this side, so you'll be able to follow suit. So don't feel rushed. Get 4 to 5 breaths in there. We're going to then sink into a lunge. We're going to take revolving side angle. I want you to keep the knee down though with the back leg. Don't straighten the leg and engage it. Keep it relaxed. Right? But make sure this left hip doesn't lift up too much. You want to settle down into the left hip, then sink the hip, then take the twist, right arm bracing against the thigh, press the palms together, stack the elbows. So I want you to really feel like you're sinking down at the base of your pelvis. You might not even feel like you're in your deepest quote unquote like lunge, right? But you've got that sinking of the pelvis, lengthening of the torso, and then the twist from the waist here. And then next inhale, we come out of the twist, so about 4 breaths in that twist once it's set up. And then we'll start to take the left heel forward. So left leg straightens again, and we take the left foot forward. You can work toward Hanuman pose or full split. Body weight and gravity play out here, so we're not creating tension in the hip. We're allowing space to be created. After those 4, maybe 5 breaths, then we engage the deep muscles in the hips to slide the left foot back. And then we're going to switch sides. We do that same sequence on the second side. Half Hanuman poses first. Yeah, you might be at a different pace than me, that's okay. I want you to make sure you get settled in, make your minor adjustments, get your 4 to 5 full breaths in with each shape. Half Hanuman pose, shoulders are squared off toward the floor, spine in line with the inside of the front leg. Twisting is next. Remember, we want to feel that grounded sensation in the right hip. And as we sink deep, deep, deep into the lunge, we start to compensate. We want to make sure hips feel pretty even, then sink into the hip, and then twist. You may not feel a super, super deep stretch in the front of your thigh and hip when you make that adjustment. That's okay. Access what's going on here in the right hip and lower back area, glutes, in addition to the twisting action. After those 4 to 5 breaths in the twist, then for